This is the story of a revolution that would give birth to the modern world, built on ideals of freedom and equality, but paid for in blood. It is a story of how a king's indecision, a nation's hunger, and the explosive power of an idea could unravel 1,000 years of tradition, setting in motion a tragedy of epic proportions. How did the dream of liberty descend into the reign of terror? To understand, we must go back to the beginning, when the first cracks appeared in the ancient foundations of the old world. France was a kingdom divided. At the top, the clergy and the nobility, a sliver of the population, owned most of the land and paid virtually no taxes. Below them, the vast Third Estate, encompassing everyone from the humblest peasant to the striving city lawyer, bore the crushing weight of the nation on its shoulders. Town, crippled by the astronomical costs of foreign wars and lavish spending, teetered on the brink of bankruptcy. The system was not just unfair, it was broken. But something else was stirring in the minds of men. A new philosophy, born in the salons and coffee houses of Paris, was spreading like wildfire. This was the Enlightenment. Voltaire championed logic and reason over dogma and tradition. They planted a dangerous seed in the minds of the disenfranchised, that a different world was possible. With financial ruin, King Louis XVI took a fateful step. In May 1789, for the first time in 175 years, he summoned the Estates General, an ancient assembly of the three classes, to approve new taxes. But the delegates of the Third Estate, men like the fiery orator Mirabeau and the shrewd lawyer Robespierre, arrived not just to discuss taxes, but to demand fundamental change. Took a solemn vow, the tennis court oath, swearing not to disband until they had written a constitution for France. It was a direct challenge to the king's authority. In that moment, the National Assembly was born, and the revolution had truly begun. The king, wavering between reform and repression, surrounded Paris with royal troops. Fear and rumor gripped the city. The people, believing a royal crackdown was imminent, needed to arm themselves. Their eyes turned to a single ominous structure, the Bastille, a medieval fortress used as a state prison. It stood as a towering symbol of royal tyranny. On the morning of July 14th, an enraged mob of artisans and shopkeepers stormed the fortress. The battle was short but brutal. When the dust settled, the Bastille had fallen. The governor's head was paraded through the streets on a pike. News of this electrifying event spread across France, signaling that the people's anger could not be contained. The king had lost control of his capital. The fall of the Bastille unleashed a wave of revolutionary fervor. In the countryside, peasants rose up, burning the manor houses of their lords in a period known as the Great Fear. Under immense pressure, the National Assembly moved with breathtaking speed. In one historic late-night session, they formally abolished the feudal system, sweeping away centuries of aristocratic privilege. Then, on August 26th, they produced one of history's most important documents, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen. Liberty, property, security, and resistance to oppression were declared natural rights. The entire foundation of the old regime was obliterated. The king, now a virtual prisoner, was forced to accept a new reality. He was no longer an absolute monarch, but a constitutional one subject to the will of the nation.